Uh, Basic vision behind making Real Cricket was to sort of create the FIFA equivalent, on mobile for cricket. I've been a very avid FIFA fan ever since I was a kid, and unfortunately, there wasn't anything on the same lines for cricket. So the idea was, can we do something, that can address my concern basically, and that would be the concern of a million Indians to start with. And the idea was always to first win at home and then to go outside and win globally. So Real Cricket as the first time we built a game using Real Cricket. Today it's a franchise now. It's got multiple versions. Was in 2014. In total, we've had about 365 million downloads for the game franchise, right? And as of now, we can say that in the Indian subcontinent, we would have about 89%, of our users still in the Indian subcontinent. No, so the game was very targeted in terms of anyone who loves cricket and wants to sort of experience the depth and the detail, because we've built a cricket simulation. We've not just built a cricket game where you come in and you just swing your bat, and the game actually allows you to experience various moments which you actually see on television, right? And that's the thought by which we made the game as well. So even to your first question, when we spoke about the vision, one of the driving factors in terms of the art style or the experience was how do we create something that when people watch a match on TV, right, and the match is over, generally in a cricket simulation, or people who play FIFA, so if Manchester United was playing Liverpool, right, and Manchester beat Liverpool 2-1, the user goes on to his console on FIFA and he tries to reverse the result because he's a Liverpool fan, right? And we wanted to have the same opportunity for our users, and the idea was whatever I see on TV, right, can I reproduce it on a mobile screen for my user, right? So that was the whole idea. It's in the name. So the first word, real, right? We've gone pretty crazy on the realism aspect, right? From motion capture to sort of picking out mannerisms of the players, cutscenes, the DRS system. Even in terms of how our AI behaves. Right, we have very complicated sort of algorithms which make the matches go close. It's not always going to be a one-sided affair. However, there could be a situation where it'd be a one-sided affair. So when I sort of started off making the game, the instruction to the team was very simple: that even though you create the game, right, when the game is ready, you shouldn't be able to predict what's going to happen on the next ball, right? Because when you watch a sport, you can be in the sport for 40 years, but to say that I 100% know what's going to happen on the next moment, even the best sports person who's played the game for 40 years wouldn't know. And we wanted to have the same sort of experience for our users, because that way the game then becomes dynamic, and the lifetime shelf life of the game, right, is just, and that's what a sports simulation game is. Because unlike other games, where you have a sense of progression, that you're on level 1, and if it's an adventure game, like if you talk about Mario, your whole objective is to save the princess, right? So there's a progression. The thing about sports games is that essentially you're doing the same thing over and over again, right? You're playing like a match after match after match, right? And if you don't have a dynamic sort of aspect to it, it gets boring pretty quickly. So, whilst people say AI is a new age technology, AI has been part and fundamentals of game development and design for a long, long time, right? The reason for that is very simple. Most single player games require you to play against imaginary, what you could say, मैं PC के सामने खेल रहा हूँ, right? So that PC is nothing but the AI, right? So we've used the technologies that are available to us for a while, and the only difference is that with AI, it's just gotten better over time, right? So when you design your own AI as well, right, with experience, you sort of are able to build more complex models which behave more close to humans, and that's basically what we've done in terms of the AI building. In terms of the other tech that you mentioned, AR, the game doesn't use any of that, right? Doesn't require any of that. We did flirt with the idea of having possibly VR in it, but then there was the challenges with VR is, for a good VR experience, you also need the hardware, right? And so far we thought that the hardware adaptation in terms of VR is not, at volume, at scale, right? And we wanted to build a game that is for the masses. Cricket is such a sport that it's followed by the masses, right? So we wanted to provide an experience which the masses can enjoy. In terms of other games from Jet and Nautilus, I think in terms of football, I don't think we would probably go for it, because there's already, two very dominant players in the market who've been sort of conquering that side and taking good care of it for the last few years. Not last few years, I mean, a couple of decades now. So I think we could probably dabble into the casual side of the sport segment, where we could possibly see something come out of the studio.